right, class. We are on exercise 9, and we're going to work on number 6. Remember with these, we are making them the shorter truth tables. We are assuming that these arguments are invalid, which means I need to make my premises true and my conclusion false. You might be thinking, Mr. Steinbeck, isn't this two different premises? No, it's not, because in the conditional, there's an antecedent and then there's a consequence. The antecedent is the P, and everything in the parentheses is the consequent. So true, true, false. And what I like to do when it comes to guessing, I like to guess in such a way that I make my conclusion false. I don't want to guess to make my conclusion a contradiction. Guess with these to make your conclusion false. But you've been supplied a lot of help right here because the conditional says it's false, which means the antecedent must be true, the consequent must be false. But this disjunction is going to be true, and this or will be false. And that supplies me right there. I might fill this in already just to knock it out. My R's are false. Let's finish working this. My disjunction says it's true. So one of these must be true. They can both be true, but at least one of them must be true. So let's make the P true. And P will be true here. And P will be true here. I'm going to wait to fill in this Q just because it could be true or false, but I want to wait and maybe work somewhere else first. See if I can work somewhere else first. So this, I think we found the contradiction already. My conditional says it's true. My antecedent is going to be true. Oh, maybe we didn't find it just yet. Antecedent is true. This consequent, I want to make this consequent to be false, because remember, if you guessed or you assume that it's invalid, you don't want to find contradictions. So guess in such a way that you don't find contradictions. So again, this conditional is true. My antecedent is true. I do not want my consequent to be false because I would find a contradiction. So I want to make sure this conditional is true. So in order to do that, this would need to be a false. My Q would need to be a false, which would give me true. And I found out Q, that's true, which helps me out right here. So I'm good right there. Disjunction, whenever the disjunction is true, you need one truth value. And I found one, even though I got two, one is sufficient. So antecedent true, consequent false, no problems and no contradictions. Q is also going to be true here. And let's keep working here. So antecedent is true, conditional says it's true, my consequent, my consequent is also true. No problems, no contradiction right there. Next premise. If this premise has no contradiction, my assumption that it's invalid is good. So my antecedent is true, and this conditional has a true false value. Has a true false value. So this must be what? False. Whenever the conditional is false, the antecedent must be true, consequent must be false. Antecedent true, consequent false, but the conditional says it's true. What is this, class? It's called the contradiction. That's what it is. It should actually be false. which means what? The argument is actually, wow, you right there. The argument is actually valid. That's not good because my guess is wrong. That means I need to go back to the drawing board and plug in some different guesses for these symbols. But what I would encourage you to do, I could stop the video here, but I think it'll be helpful to keep going. What I could do is just make my guesses so that I don't find a contradiction up in here, because I didn't find one in here and I did not find one in there. So focus your guess on here. The contradiction was really right in here. So say if I change my P, that was a T, to an F, what would that do to the other things? Let's see what it would do. If I change my P to an F, let's just say my second guess is here. Let's erase some of this stuff so we won't be getting confused. We know this right here, all right? Okay, let's change them now. Blank, blank. Get rid of that for a second, and blank. My P's are empty. New P's are going to be F. F. And F. I'm going to change these to you because I don't know yet. Change these. Change those. Leave these premises as true. Consequence still stays false. Let's work through it. Let's knock out the conclusion first. This junction, if there's one truth value in the conjunction, the whole thing is true. And it matches. Antecedent's true, consequence false. No problem, sir. Go back here. Condition says it's true. This is a false, antecedent's false. This must be, it can be a true or false, but the conditional has two F's, and that would make it a what? To make it true. It would make it true because whenever if the antecedent is true, the consequent is false, that means the conditional is false. If you see anything else, it's true. So false, false for conditional is true. That's no problem. Actually, that's no problem, but let's bring this down because it's here and here. Antecedent false. Consequent is true. Conditional says it's true. No problem. No problem. Work. Last one to work. If we found no contradiction, we're good. Let's work here. And remember, these are both the same. Same situation. Conditional has two F's. Conditional has two F's. And I came up with the true. If you don't see that similarity, that's okay. All you do is just focus in right here and find your true false value. So for the conditional, whenever it's false, false, that makes it a true. So I bring this down as the consequent. I bring this down as the antecedent. Conditional says it's true. Look at that. No contradiction. No contradiction, so my guess in the beginning that it's invalid, it stays. It stays. I know this was a little bit longer. I wanted to stop right after we found a contradiction, but I think it's helpful to keep plugging in because you're gonna have to keep plugging in. So this was number 6, exercise 9.